Spears is a Yankee. What? Yep. Wayne Nelson left Jim Messina to play bass for Little River Band in 1980 and still continues to tour the world playing Lonesome Loser, Cool Change, Happy Anniversary, It's a Long Way There, and so many. You can't believe how many great Little River Band songs there are till you catch them live. They're going to be at the historic Everett Theater this Friday night at 8 o'clock. Wayne Nelson, welcome to the Bob Rivers Show. Hi, Wayne.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's our pleasure. And you're touring the United States right now. Do you know what state you're in?
Confusion.
That's most of them.
We're actually got a few days off. Everybody's at home. I live in Florida now. I live in Delray Beach, Florida. So I'm not only on the other coast, but the opposite corner of the country from you guys. But,
yeah, you're as far away as you could be from us, like a Miami Dolphin. So I want to ask you so much, but I got to say first, I saw you guys during your last trip through the Northwest. You played at the Snoqualmie Casino Amphitheater outdoor concert. Do you remember that, or are they all a blur?
Remember it well. Some things are a blur, but such a spectacular setting as that arena there by Snoqualmie is etched in our mind. And I remember something really very special about it was that just off to stage right, we were looking, and there was an eagle, a bald
yes.
eagle that had nested with babies, and everybody was kind of like, there's the show, there's the nest. Are they going to fall? Are they going to fly? Are they going to whatever? It was kind of a little subplot going on during the show. So spectacular place, and yes, I remember every bit of it. And the length of the crowd that came to sign afterwards, it's like it happened yesterday.
Well, I'll tell you. I'll tell you the experience because people should come and see you. I went and I thought, I think I remember a couple of Little River Band songs. It feels like a band that doesn't get played enough, and I haven't, I remembered a few songs, and I thought, oh, let's see how they are. And I'm watching the show, and one after another, I remember every single song. People are singing along, and the band sounded so true to the original, and I had forgotten, the tastiness of the music, if you will. And I'm listening to you sing, and I'm like, wow, I wonder how long. And so I did this thing where I Googled the band, where you go to see like how many original members and what's the history of the band. I know it probably seems rude that some guy in row 5 is reading about you while he's watching you, but that's modern technology, isn't it?
I actually love it. It happens a lot during the show, but keep going. This is a great story.
Well, and here's the thing. Like, I'm watching the show, and the band is so good, and I'm like, wow, I missed this band, and I didn't even know it. And as I Google, I want to know, I always guess, like, how many original members, because this is a band that's had, first off, the history of the band is that it started, I called it like almost like a Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young from Australia, because it started with really well-known, already established musicians, right?
Exactly right. It was in Australian terms, and I don't. The word "super" take away all of the superlatives of it. It was Australia's first compiled supergroup, if you will. Hey, here they come. They were in 3 separate successful bands. This is going to be great, and listen to them sing and whatever. Yes, that's the way. That was the origin of it in '75.
And beautiful, beautiful songwriting and great playing, and it was astounding.
Yes.
And so, go ahead.
Well, no, to the up to the point of my entrance into that band, and I was in nowhere near a position of being in anything successful other than I had gotten the job playing bass with Jim Messina. But the one thing that they couldn't lock down for 4 years was the bass position. There were three or 4 different bass players that had gone on tour with them up to that point, and 3 or 4 more that had been in the studio with them. So the bass position was a constant, in constant flux, and I was very much in the right place at the right time.
Right, and so did they have like an emergency band meeting and say, we've checked every bass player in Australia. We have to go to the other side of the world?
I don't know, but I know that there were a couple of people who were at the wheel of band personnel, if you will, and there was a singing bass player in front of them for 2 weeks, and they went, "This could be the fix." And so they approached me. Was there a band meeting? I doubt it, because of internal politics. And to be honest, one of the guys that was in the band at the time was adamantly opposed to bringing in an American. He wasn't opposed to me personally.
Right, just opposed to our entire country and everything it stands for.
Right. Who can blame him?
It's an Australian
Nothing
band.
personal.
Right.
So, and that was my next question: is, as an American, did you feel? I had to feel like an outsider for at least the first 5 years, right?
Well, very much so. And those first 5 years involved a lot of trips to Australia, and 2 of them to actually live there for 6 to 7 months at a time, because we were actively creating new records for Capitol Records, and it was an ongoing flow of stuff that was happening. And the reviews and the so on and so forth, Little River Band was kind of taken for granted by Australia as, oh yeah, they had a couple of songs and nice vocals and whatever, but it's not meat and potatoes for Australian music. It wasn't it wasn't tough enough. It wasn't angry enough. It wasn't street enough for most Australian crowds. So my entry into the band was like, whoa, they brought an American over here to do this, and then people are looking and going, well, there's all kinds of bass players in Australia that
okay.
exactly what he's doing.
Right.
Why would and it's true. Even the former bass players in the band were incredible players. The reason why they kept moving things around was a mystery then, and is still a great mystery now for me, because of course it was, it ended up to be to my benefit, but there was no real logic or musical reason why they couldn't find a bass player in Australia.
You just happen to be the guy.
Already.
And the Jim Messina thing probably helped. So here you are.
Absolutely.
Here you are playing these songs, and you become the lead singer. Tell me about that.
First of all, the very first record we went to, and I have to go to internal band politics to tie all of this together. The reason that they went outside Australia and the reason that people were coming in and going out was because there were factions within the band that were dictating, we don't like them, we don't like him, we don't know what. So yes, 2 weeks in front of them playing very complex music and singing over the top of it with Messina. Yes, I was in the right place at the right time.
And you were good. You're very humble, but you were probably better than everybody else, because playing great players are fairly common, and if you got the whole earth to search for, and great singers if you got the whole earth to search from. But people who can play and sing at the same time complex stuff, that's not so easy.
It's kind of a schizophrenic split right-left brain thing, where you're holding it down with one side of your brain, and you're being free to sing a song over the top of it with the other half of your brain. So
that's
a
wicked skill.
Yeah. I thank you. That's a huge compliment, and I don't go there.
Don't sell yourself short, but I wish you were Australian.
Thank you. Anyway.
So now at the time when you came in, you were not the lead singer, right? You didn't. There was.
I was not, and as a matter of fact, it took a while to work the way into what was already a very solid vocal package to find places where I could give one guy a break, and we would recreate kind of the blend or whatever. And so I was groomed to fit in with what was already in place with Little River Band. That has ended up paying off over the course of 30 years, because that's why when you were sitting there hearing that the band still sounded true and fresh and whatever,
Perfect.
Even though those other people weren't there, that was the thread back to it. Was I was brought in and made to fit seamlessly into the band so that people could come and go out of the vocals. And then we go to record the first record, and the band politics became evident because one of the writers, what the lead singer was doing. And so step by step, it was, no, you sing Night Owls. Night Owls was kind of written for your range and for what you do. You sing Night Owls. So now we're in the studio. George Martin's producing, and I'm singing lead vocal for an international band, and I'd never sung lead vocal in the studio in my life.
And George Martin is turning the knob.
George Martin. Wow.
George Martin is calling the shots, and Jeff Emmerich who was the Beatles engineer,
Right.
all of those records, is turning the knobs. It was surreal, and we're doing it in Montserrat on his studio on a hilltop overlooking the Caribbean. I mean, it's just like, well, man, I need to go get a lotto ticket. I've kind of scored here.
Sure. It's a long way from Peoria.
They choose it. Wayne from Peoria. They choose it as the first single. So that's how the lead vocal thing started. Then came Take It Easy on Me, where we split the lead vocals. And then finally in 2000, when we had lost yet another lead singer, and it was time to, are we going to train somebody new or whatever? And
I see. So now you sing them all. Now you say, hey, here's a question for you. Slow, patient, hardworking. Have you kicked everybody's ass who was politically difficult to deal with in the beginning, and they're all gone now, and you're in charge?
I didn't kick anybody's ass. They left before it was time.
They just wandered out.
He was gunning.
That was diplomacy, my friend. Well done.
Through attrition. And now are you having the time of your life touring and playing this incredible music?
Absolutely. And not only touring and playing the incredible music from the past, but once that started to happen, the reason for that in 2000, we started making our own music, and for the right reasons. We didn't have a record contract. We didn't have the support of labels and blah, 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 blah. We were a band that got on the bus and played, and it was time for us to make new music to keep the pipes clean and to be what we're supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And from a political influenced business plan, we've kind of morphed into a band who loves to play together, writes, records, and we're making band music again. And so we've come full circle, if you will. And yes, now I'm having the time of my life. I left the band because the people in the band had gotten so jaded and sick of the process. We were playing the same 11 songs every night, and I went, "Well,
please tell me you're going to play those 11 songs, because those are."
Yeah, really.
I want to hear your new stuff too.
Say this,
but here's the thing, and what I saw when I saw you guys is you guys are having such fun. And it's apparent that you're having fun. So that's a relatively new thing, like in the last however many years.
Well, it is. The band performed in channels, if you will. They walked to their mic and back from their mic, but they weren't doing it with each other. It was 5 or 6 individuals making great music. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking away anything from their talent, but their heads were not in the same place.
Being the legacy member, Wayne, are there any Australians left in the group?
No, nobody's from Australia. It's everybody from Peoria that he grew up with in high school, right?
Rome, Illinois.
Yeah.
And from Rome, Illinois. No, yes, there is an Australian in the band. Has been there for 13 years. One other little tidbit: this lineup has now been together longer than any of the founding members were in the band.
That's why it was. That's why it was so authentic that I couldn't believe when I read all of the personnel changes. But it's absolutely an authentic experience. Yes, John.
If you needed to, there's some great drummers in Melbourne, Florida. I know a singer in Sydney, BC. I mean, just if you could just say, and from Sydney, and from Melbourne, we got
Perth, Iowa.
I love it, John.
Yeah.
Well, you just extended our career by 10 years.
Yeah, well, and I think you'll do it with your own music, because the album you put out last year got rave reviews, and you said you're still making great music. Cuts Like a Diamond by the Little River Band. Every review I've read says it's
Pedro, if you can grab that for the end of the interview. We got another minute or so. I'd like to hear a little bit of it. Of course, you still play all the hits because you got it, right? Everybody loves them.
We do, and that's the... When you ask, are we having the time of our lives, the exchange of energy from people now in like 3 different generations who have either grew up with it or it was being played in their house when they were kids and grew up with it. It's the music has transcended all those barriers and personnel changes and whatever. It's about the songs, and people love the music. And that the lead-in when you were sitting there going, well, I know 2 songs, but I'll go, it's Little River Band, and they're, people say they're good. You see people every single night, and I'm serious, every night, turn and point or look and start going and go, I forgot that one.
Yeah.
Or they come through the line and they say, I had no idea all of the catalog. But yes, we play the hits. The new music injected fun and spirit into the hits as well, which is part of what you were feeling that night, which is why we're having a ball. As musicians, we have to be on our game to play that stuff, and there's new music that is getting standing ovations now that is not dependent on 35 years ago. It is, it's a new page in the band's book. Everybody feels it, and we're just having a ball. It's a great.
He lives in Delray Beach, Florida, so he's not Australian. The lead singer of the Little River Band, Wayne Nelson. Wayne, do you have any Australian memory? Do you do your house like in an Australian theme? Do you have like little stuffed koala bears and things that make you feel like Australian or little or?
Absolutely not.
No, nothing Australian.
South Florida home. No, I mean, I've got a platypus tattooed on my forearm. I guess that's my.
That counts. That
that's
absolutely counts.
That's a tribute right there.
Come and see these guys, the Little River Band, at the historic Everett Theater, this Friday at 8 o'clock. All the information's at our website, bobrivers.com. Wayne, I look forward to meeting you.
Same here. Please, guys, please come and say hello. I'd love to put a face with the names, and it's been. You guys, good fun.
All right, take care. Wayne Nelson, the Little River Band, and this is their new stuff.
What's inside of you? A diamond rough is hard to cut, and this one's taken.
Up next, Draft Day with Kevin Costner is getting great reviews from movie-going sports